just like that, we get to day 5 and the end of the very first week of my UKRI Future Leaders Fellowship. And it's a strange one because next week I take some paternity leave to welcome my son and second child into the world, of which I'm desperately looking forward to. And thanks to some of the things I've said over the past few days, I'm not feeling at all worried about taking that time off. I've been trying very hard not to feel guilty about these things. This is going to be one of the most special moments in my life, and certainly putting that into context against the time that I will spend well when I get back into work and into the fellowship research in a few weeks' time. One of the great things I managed to get done today was an application for one of the things I'd budgeted in the fellowship. So a little bit of background, I guess, for anyone listening to this is that aside from staff, students, equipment, and travel costs in the fellowship like this one, there was a really great opportunity to add in some personal and staff training costs and have a specific budget for training. And training is what I was looking at today. So I'm getting my own training out the way first, so I can then build a training program for my own team when we have them on board. And without further ado, the first thing I was applying for was Seth Godin's Alt MBA. So as a chemist, a hardcore physical scientist, it might have seemed a bit counterintuitive to do something like the Alt MBA, which is a 30-day intensive business-focused training program to help you get past perfectionism, ship your work to people who care, and do so in the company and context of a lot of other people who are trying to get to that same higher level of leadership. So I'm desperately excited about that, and that's the application I've just put in. I've got the funds for it. I budgeted it in the fellowship. There's no guarantee I'll get into the programme. It is, I understand, as popular and competitive as it is intensive. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm really glad that that's one of the things that I've ended this week on. I chose that programme because, I've struggled with thinking that as a scientist, everything I do needs to be completely fundamental and I need to be a specialist in one thing. But it's only as I've got a little bit older and more comfortable in myself over the past couple of years that I've started to apologise less for being more of a generalist and someone who's interested more in connecting the dots rather than drawing a single dot as clearly and in as high definition as I can. That's a hopeless analogy, but the point is, something like the Alt MBA programme really sings to my interests of taking science beyond publication into non-traditional media, into the business space, which I've grown to love over the past few years. I've probably got more of an entrepreneur spirit than I have an academic scientist, if I'm being quite honest, but I think it's in a fellowship like this that I can really bridge that gap, become comfortable in myself and what I can best do to get new science out there and made useful in the world. I don't think I'll say anything else today. I'm actually really happy with getting things to that close. I'll be signing off fellowship-wise for about a week, but I'm going to stick to the promise of doing this sort of reflection every day. I'll be thinking about the book that I'm writing. I'll be thinking about stuff I want to do when I get back. I'll be thinking about tying this into the tiredness of being a dad for the second time. And so as much as I might be away from work over the next week or so, I still want to be able to share some daily reflection, most of which might be useless to you, but who knows, maybe there's a nugget in there that will be useful for people, so it can continue to peel back the mask on how it looks like these fellowships run, and be as realistic and paint as truthful a picture as I possibly can. Show you all the highlights, the low points, the struggles, the successes, the doubts, and everything else in between. So until then, I hope you have a good evening. Thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, head over to the website, where not only will you find the written blog versions of these podcasts, you'll find my leadership blog series, the daily thought series, and information about my book on managing the imposter phenomenon. We also have even more free resources and webinars linked to the YouTube channel. So head on over to dr-marc-reid.com. That's dr-marc with a C -reid.com.